95% of all traders draw support and resistance completely wrong and lose money because of it. In this video, you will learn what support and resistance is, the 2 best ways to draw support and resistance, why support and resistance is important, and how to make money from it. This video is a 100% must-watch video because all future trading strategies which I will show you are based on this clear standard which I'm showing you in this video. The most important part about support and resistance is that you have a clear, precise rule or standard on how you draw support and resistance. Because if you don't have a clear rule, you will draw it every time a bit differently and you will be confused and you cannot trade consistently successfully because you have no standard to compare your trades or your performance to. That's why you need to have a clear standard and do it the exact same way every single time. There are 2 types of markets. First of all, we have a trending market, which either means the price goes up or the price goes down. Very simplified. And we have a sideways market. In a sideways market, the price is going sideways, usually in a range like this. And in a trending market, the price is going up. Of course, there are swings in between. Like this, for example, swing, 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 swing. Now, the important part is, no matter what the market structure is, there is always a support and resistance. So what exactly is support and resistance? If you want to be very, very precise on what it is, support is like a price floor where the price potentially can bounce off of to the top, and resistance is like a price ceiling where the price potentially might bounce off of and go down from. There are 2 ways on how to draw support and resistances. I will show you both of them and I will explain to you also why there are 2 ways. Here, for example, we are in a sideways range. We can see the price is going mostly sideways and the price is ranging a bit up, a bit down, a bit up, a bit down. So overall, the price is going sideways. In this range, there is a resistance and a support. Here, the bottom area, this level would be the support. This here would be the resistance. So this here is like a price ceiling. This here is like a price floor. So how do you identify a support level and a resistance level? First of all, simply check with your eyes what was the highest point in a range and what was the lowest point. We can clearly see here, this is the highest point which stands out and this is the lowest point. Now, there are 2 ways on how to draw support and resistance. The first way is with a line. So for this, you go on the top here and you choose trend line. You could also use the horizontal line or the ray. So for example, let's use the ray like this here, for example. And the second way would be with a box, aka you go here on the brush tool, you click on this little arrow and you go to the rectangle like this. Depending on what trading setup or what trading strategy you want to trade, you either use a line or a zone. So both are correct and both are valid, but it just depends on what you are looking for. First, let me cover the line. So the line is the most simple way on how to draw it. So like I said, go here on this, choose trend line, and basically what you want to do is check where the lowest swing is, which is here, for example, and check where the bottom close is of the lowest part. So we can see this is where the lowest body close is. Just for your repetition, every candle has a body and wick. So the solid part is the body and the shadow, this is the wick. So if you want to use a line for your support, you always use the body. So for this, you start here and you make it perfectly horizontal like this. Make sure that you perfectly capture the bottom of the body. Same for resistance. This here is the highest point in this sideways range. That's why this is the resistance, aka a ceiling on where the price potentially might bounce off of. So for this, again, we go here. Let me show you the ray now. So the ray is very helpful. Click on the ray and then click on this exact level and then to the right. And here we go. Now this here would be the resistance, aka ceiling. This will be the support. Every time the market has a price swing, a support and resistance zone or line is created. Let me give you an example. For example, right here, we come down and we come up and we come down again. This high creates a resistance. Usually what you want to do is you want to wait for 2 or 3 counter candles for a high or a low to be formed. So for example, we come down, we have 1, 2, 3 candles, and then we come down. Then we have 1, 2 candles. After the second candle, this high is confirmed as a swing. So after this candle closed, we would draw a resistance line right here, because this here is a high which was formed in this down move. So this here is a price level where the sellers were so strong that the sellers pushed the price down. That's why you want to draw also a resistance here. So now let's draw a resistance right here, like this. And we can see we came down. We had 1, 2 candles up. So now this second candle confirms this as a swing. So now you also want to draw a support line here. Now we can see in this case, the support line gets broken. There are only 2 things that can happen. The first thing that can happen is the price can bounce off of and reject. The second thing that can happen is the price can break through. So in this case, the price broke through. There are multiple trading strategies that you can use based on support and resistance. Either you trade the rejection down, or the bounce up, or the breakout. Every single one of them have multiple strategies and multiple setups. And every setup depends on a specific confirmation. So I will make a separate video on the best setup for a rejection and the best one for a breakout, because those are the only 2 scenarios that can happen. And this happens over and over and over again. The market moves up, the market moves down, the market moves sideways. The market always has a ceiling and always has a bottom. And the price either rejects, or it breaks through. The second method on how you can draw the support and resistance is with a zone or a box. So for this, you can just go to this brush tool, then you go down on the rectangle, and then you start at the exact same point, like with the line, so where the candle body closes on the bottom, and you include the wick. So depending on how long this wick is, you make the box either this long, or in this case, this long. One little trick, you can click on this with a double click, and then you can turn this setting on. If this setting is off, then what you have to do is you have to click on this and draw it from here to here and move it to the right. However, if you double click on this, you can turn this on and it will automatically extend it. So let me show you. This is the resistance. We draw it from here. So we start the zone from where the candle body closes, from here up until the highest wick. Here is also a wick, but this wick is higher. You always include the highest wick. So essentially a range from the body close to the wick. Here, for example, is also a swing low. We come down, we have 1 candle, 2 candles. This second candle confirms this as a swing. So if you were to use a line, you would go here and you would draw a perfectly horizontal line. If you were to use a zone, you start at the exact same area, like this, and you include up until the bottom wick. Here, for example, we have a sideways range. How can we see this? In this area, we clearly go sideways. Yes, we go up a bit, we go down a bit, but overall, it's a sideways range. And we are essentially consolidating in a sideways range. Consolidating just means it's going up and down in a defined range. This defined range is also known as a sideways channel. Just like a tunnel, it's a fixed tunnel with a ceiling and a bottom. So for example, we come down. We have 1 bullish candle, 1 second bullish candle. This second bullish candle confirms this as the lowest point of the range. So if you were to use a line, you go here and you draw a line where the lowest candle body closes. We have a top, 1 candle down, second candle down. This second candle confirms this here as a swing high, which means this qualifies this as a resistance. So now we also want to draw a resistance line right here. Again, if you want to use a zone, you start at the same area as the line, but you include the wick. Now, here, for example, we have no bottom wick, aka a tiny bottom wick. In this example, if you have no bottom wick or a tiny bottom wick, you simply start also at the exact same area and you extend it about 20 to 30% of the candle body. So for example, this candle body is this large, so you could use, for example, 25% or 1/4 of this. So for example, like this would be accurate and precise. So why is support and resistance important? Every support line or zone and every resistance line or zone is a potential area where you can take a trade entry. Your job is not to predict what will happen on every support and every resistance. Your job is only, number one, you draw all the support and resistance lines or zones. Number two, you wait until the price gets to your zones, and then you observe what the price is doing and how the candles are behaving at your lines or at the zones. And depending whether your rules apply or don't apply, you either take the trade or you skip the trade. The rules based upon which you enter or not enter depend on your trading strategy. This is very complex and there are a few variations of this, so I will make a dedicated video on the best possible setups that you can take for support and resistance. For the beginning, I can highly recommend you that you only focus on the obvious levels. Don't try to draw a support and resistance on every single swing. Yes, you can, but most likely in the beginning, this will confuse you. But just as an exercise, I will show you a few other areas that you can draw as support and resistance. Here, for example, we also have a tiny swing. However, as I explained to you, you need at least 2 counter candles for this swing to be confirmed. Here, we just have only 1 candle. So this is classified as a breather. The price does not really swing, it's just breathing 1 candle and then continuing. So this here would not be a support. On the other hand, right here, we have a proper swing. We have a high, we have 1 candle down, doji. Now this doji would not count because in this candle, the price did not move at all. It opened here and it closed at the same level. So that's why we ignore this candle. This here is a proper candle where the price moved a significant amount. So this here is our second candle. This second candle is confirming this here as a swing high. That's why once this candle is closing, we are drawing a resistance line or zone, depending on what setup you're looking to trade, right here. So now let's draw a resistance line right here. So now we come down here. We have 1 candle, a second candle. Now this is a very large candle. So this essentially is as large as 2 or 3 normal candles in this vicinity range. So once this candle closes, this confirms this here as a swing low, aka as a support line or as a support zone. So what does this line and zone tell you? And what does this line and zone tell you? The only thing that this here and this here tells you is that in the past, this was an area of interest where buyers kicked in, where you get a reaction off of. Same as here, this is a price level where sellers push the price down. Again, your job is not to predict what will happen. Your job is to draw them and then to wait until the price goes again to the same area and then observe what will happen. And then, depending on your rules for your trading strategy or your trade setup, you either take a trade or not. Now I will show you a small nuance. In this sideways range, we identified this is the highest swing, this is the lowest swing. So these here establish our range of this sideways movement. However, if you look closely, we can also see that here is a minor support and also here is a minor resistance. Why? Because we got a swing up, 1, 2 counter candles. This candle confirms this as a high, aka resistance. Now here we come down, we have 1 candle, we come down again, 1 big candle. So this here also is like a swing low. Now, the reason why I would not draw a support line here and here is because this is a very tight range. As I told you before, there are only 2 things that can happen. The price can either bounce off or the price can break through. If you were to trade a strategy where you want to trade the bounce off, then this would be a way too tight range to take any trade from, because if I were to enter down here, there is almost no room for me to capture a price move. On the other hand, if I were to trade the breakout, aka if the price were to break through our resistance or through our support, such as here, there is no room until the next target, because once we break through this small support line, the next support is right around the corner. So if you were to take a short trade right here, aka you bet on the price going down, as you can see the support line gets disrespected with this candle. This here is like a wall, like a floor wall, which is right at your nose. That's why it's not smart and not helpful to draw them on a very tight range, because they will not help you for trading. Right now we are here on the Bitcoin live chart, and as we can see, we also established another resistance line right here. Again, this resistance gets confirmed once we have 1, 2 counter candles. This confirms this as a swing. So now you draw the line like this, where the highest candle closes, and for the zone, again, you draw it from the same level up until the highest wick. And same for bottom. This here would be the line. Also, you can use the hotkey like this, just up, aka the caps arrow up. And here, this would be the zone. Now this here is a range, and now we simply wait until the price gets either to here or to here, and depending on the price action confirmation, aka on what the candles are doing, we are either taking a rejection trade up, or a rejection trade down, or a breakout trade. Now, like I said, this depends on the rules, and I will show you specific strategies and setups with the exact rules on exactly when you trade them and also when not. And because this is so important, I have to make a separate video, because there is so much nuance to this to skip most losses and to take most wins. As you can see, we are right now on the 1 minute chart. Now, this is a very, very small time interval of the Bitcoin market moves. One really important thing is to be also aware of the higher time frame support and resistance lines, aka zones. So for example, I recommend you also check the 5 minute chart and the 1 hour chart, because these two are very significant time intervals where many big traders look at. So for example, let's go on the 5 minute chart, and we can see that actually the support zone we drew right here is a 1 minute support zone and also a 5 minute support zone. So this here is a very important level. Same as here, we also drew a support line. Now again, on the 5 minute chart, you would draw it here where the candle body closes, and the zone like this. Now let's go even higher. Let's go on the 1 hour chart. First of all, let me remove the 5 minute ones like this. And now let's go on the 1 hour time frame. And now we can see the support and resistance zones we drew on the 1 minute chart are not even noticeable on the 1 hour chart. One thing you could do, you could draw the 1 hour support resistance in one color. And if you trade the 1 minute, you choose another color for the 1 minute. And if you trade, for example, the 5 minute, you choose another color for the 5 minute. So for example, we have the support zones for the 1 minute chart in red. However, as we trade the 1 minute chart, you also want to be aware of where are the price ceilings and the price floors on the 1 hour chart. In this case, we can clearly see this here is the highest point in this range. That's why you want to draw a resistance line right here and also a support line right here. Once we get to this level on the 1 minute chart, you want to be alert and check what happens. And then again, depending on the rules, you either take a trade or you don't take a trade. I hope I explained this as simple and clear as possible. If you want, I can make another video and show you dozens of examples on how to do it. Or another thing, in the description, you can join the VIP Discord community, which is a free community. And you can learn from many other traders who are already trading this every single day and making money from this concept. Now, I have a very important action task for you. I want you to go on any crypto chart, for example, on the Bitcoin chart, choose any time frame, for example, 1 minute time frame, 5 minute time frame, and then I want you to go in the past and draw every support and resistance area and zone. And then if you want, you can screenshot them and post them actually right here and your observations, and you will get feedback from me, because I check once a day and help out all the people in there. And also the other more experienced traders, they will also give you feedback. And this way you learn super fast, which is the fastest shortcut to get proficient and comfortable with this setup. If you have any questions, please comment down below. I will read all of your questions and I will help you out with all my heart. I would appreciate if you give this video also a like, also subscribe, turn on the ring bell so you get notified. The next video which I have planned for you is also amazing, so stay tuned for this. Thank you so much for watching and your amazing support. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.